should say more positive things. I think there are a few bands that are very, very important. I think Queensryche is an important band. I think Iron Maiden's an important band. Metallica is an important band. Those are bands that when they say something, people listen. They're not just singing about, you know, their girlfriend's red dress or something like that. And then rock and roll is supposed to be about revolution and anarchy, and when you see something wrong, you say something about it. And rock and roll has long since not been about that. So I decided that I would make records that directly reflected what I was feeling inside. I mean, there's a whole thing going on in America now that I'm sure everyone here is aware of. It's called Japan bashing. And Japan bashing is not so much people in America angry with Japan, it's them angry with themselves. Because for so long, America has believed that they are number one. And the whole idea of never, ever not being number one did not enter their mind. And so Americans sit back like this and they go, yeah, we're the best, we're the greatest. And 30 years went by and America was not number one anymore. And they could not understand why things were happening to them. So they immediately looked for someone else to blame. There's no one else to blame but the people in America. And if more artists, actors, musicians, painters, whatever, actually stood up and did what bands did in the 60s and say what they think, not only would rock and roll be better, but the world would be a better place. More bands need to do that. I think it's very, very important. I did a lot of that on the Headless album. Did a lot of it the same way, so it wasn't really that different. The thing that I missed the most was not having a band like people think a band is. You know, I miss the camaraderie probably more than anything. From a creative point of view, it was the best. Did exactly what I wanted to do. Didn't have to worry about anything. I mean, there's 2 songs that are on this album that I had for the Headless Children album that didn't make it. One of them was Hold On To My Heart, which is probably going to be the biggest song I've ever had. But the old guitar player that we had, Chris Holmes, I played the song for him, and he just didn't want to know it. You know, I mean, he did not want to know about that song. So it's not a whole lot I could do, you know, if you have a person who refuses to do something. Because, you know, especially with metal bands, if you say, okay, we want to do a slow song or ballad or whatever, some guys in the band get upset because they think it's going to show a side of them, you know, that, in other words, they're going to let their macho down, you know. If you're confident in your macho, you shouldn't have to worry about that. You can do whatever you want to do. And so from a creative point of view, it was the best. From a lack of a camaraderie point of view, it was the worst. And I miss that. So there's good and there's bad too. Well, what I feel and what is necessary are 2 different things. Because you cannot refuse to play material from the old albums. You can't do that. I saw Bono in an interview with MTV say that U2 refused to play any songs from the first 3 albums. And I don't understand how he can sit there and say that. For the fans that supported U2 from the very beginning, that are still supporting U2, and then for him to say, no, we don't want to do material from the first 3 albums, I don't understand that. So I think that's a very arrogant attitude for any musician to take. So what we will do when we bring the tour to Japan is that we will do the Crimson Idol in its entirety from beginning to end. Then we will take a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll do songs from the earlier albums. So, and I do apologize for not coming last time. The tour had been booked already. We had a guitar player who decided that he didn't want to go anywhere anymore. So it wasn't just a question of not coming to Japan, he just didn't want to go anywhere. So we very much want to come back to play. Well, Johnny Rod, our bass player, playing bass, I have a new drummer who played on about half of this album. His name is Stet Howland. And as you know, Bob Kulick played about 80% of the lead guitar on this record. But Bob has his own band going on, so he won't be doing this. But the guitar player, I go back to Los Angeles in 3 days from now. I can't tell you right now who it is because it is not 100% yet. But it is someone that you know. And I don't want to say anything right now because if he doesn't do it, then it doesn't matter. But I'll know more when I get back to Los Angeles about a guitar player. Well, I apologize, like I said before, for W.A.S.P. not coming to Japan. But looking back on it, maybe it's a good thing because it's been 5 years since W.A.S.P. have been to Japan. So sometimes when they don't see as much as they would like, it makes them want it more. So I hope so. So the only thing I know is that when we come back, I'm hoping W.A.S.P. have always been known for a show. We will always continue to do a show. If we didn't do a show, it wouldn't be W.A.S.P. So hopefully the Japanese audience will appreciate what we're getting ready to do, being the biggest show we've ever done before. So I'm looking very forward to coming back, hopefully before the year is over.